personal time, Feeling obliged. I don't feel obliged in life pretty much ever. Feeling obliged. Some say obligated. If you feel obliged to do something that makes you uncomfortable, just trust me, because I used to be there in the same way that pretty much everyone is. It's easy to get out. It's easy to work your way out and find your freedom. And you know what? Those people that make you feel that way in a way that doesn't feel just or fair, they're not good people. They're just taking advantage of you. And you have this thought in your head, I know this is happening now, but I know later that everything's going to work out. And you're right. Later, everything is going to work out. That thought and that feeling are real. Those things are real because that happened to me. And all of those things worked out. Every single time I felt in my mind, it's okay that this is happening now because it's going to work out. It always worked out every single time. And I mean on a long term because I've broken completely free from it. I've broken completely free from it. All it takes is a series of decisions. You can have a long-term desire to get out of it. And then you can start with the short term to remove it from your life if you want to start with the short term. Sometimes it's easier to start with the short term by turning it down one time with a valid reason. Because everybody that you're interacting with, that you feel obliged to, has a point in their awareness where you can actually justify not doing the thing. So, for example, if you have to drive someone's kid to school and you know that they're just not waking up, there's always a valid reason for you to plan something important on that day where you tell them that you can't drive their kid to school. You can do that. You can plan something so important that you're not able to drive that child to school and they will have to drive their child to school. And that can be your first step out of being obliged. And that applies to so many different situations. It's really easy to start with the long-term desire of getting out of the obligation. It's really easy to start there. And it's really easy to take the short-term action. It's also really easy to do the rest of it if you follow your heart and the system that you create to get out of it and staying cool while doing it, even if the other person's not staying cool, is the best option because this is how it works. You start backing off with valid reasons, of course, and there are many valid reasons materialistically and societally, socially, I mean, both. There also are very valid reasons personally and privately. So don't be afraid to say, I can't bring your child to school today. It's private. So if you need to say that, you can say that. And then if you can't use that for whatever reason, you might not want to, it might not be valid because you might not actually have a private reason, you can say it's personal. And if you want to go into detail about what the personal thing is, that's fine. And then, if it's not a personal thing and it's a societal, a social thing, you can say, I have this thing I have to do, And my boundary system doesn't allow me to bring your child to school today because I have this thing to do in society, whatever it may be. You can tell them specifically what it is or not. But if you can't say it's private, it's personal, or I have something to do, then you might need to take a step back and work something out. So this system of boundaries, your external boundaries that lead to your personal space, which leads to your private world for you. You don't have to let anyone into your private world ever. But you can, and it can be private for you and them, but it might not be everything. And then you don't have to let anyone into your personal space either, and you don't have to let anyone past your boundaries either. Like one of my boundaries is, you just don't come to my house. You just don't. You don't. No one right now is invited to my house. They're just not. No one. Not a single person's invited to my house. If that changes in the future, then fine, but that's one of my boundaries right now. Just no one comes here. Because it's my sanctum. It's my sanctuary. This place has so much zen, it would blow most people's minds. That's what I work on pretty much all day is my zen. It's the balance of the physicality and the balance of the ethers of the home. The feeling, the vibe of the home. Hi-fi living. Living in the positive. So yeah, label these things in your life where you feel obliged. And ask yourself, is this right? Because if it's a proper obligation, that's fine. And there are proper ways to detach from that obligation. In fact, there's an entire proper way of living. Every single social interaction has a proper option. So choose the proper option if you want to be a proper citizen or a proper friend or a proper lover. You know what I mean? Like, England is all about being proper. And they're right. They are correct. So let's work on being proper together, because I am proper at all times. All of my things are proper. All of my interactions are proper. I've worked on it. I don't have anything that makes me feel like something's wrong in my life. I don't. Not in my life. So yeah, this freedom I have, it feels great, you know? And it feels great to be able to communicate this to people, you know? So go ahead, live your life. Don't be afraid to keep it simple and be very general. And what I mean by that is you don't need to give someone a complex, detailed response to things when you don't want to, because it's up to you what they know about your situation, regardless of how you have felt obliged in the past. You don't owe them the same information that you used to if your feelings change. So you take a step back and you change your formula, you change your game up, and now everything's different. You say to them right away, I've changed my private life, I've changed my personal life, and I've changed my boundaries. And this is my choice. So you have to respect me. And if they can't respect that, you need to handle it, or you need to get someone to be in your life that can help you handle it, whether it be a professional or someone personal. Love you.